Hey there and welcome to this overview video for BFD Drums 3.5. I'm Houston, and for the next few minutes, I'll be showing you the main features, drum kits, sounds, and showcasing what makes BFD Drums such a powerhouse drumming software. We'll take a look and a listen to the awesome core drum kits and preset library, along with creating and refining some kits from the BFD browser with BFD's massive library of custom drum sounds. We'll also take a deeper look into the inspector panel, the heart and soul of what makes BFD drums so tweakable and so playable. We'll also dive into the onboard audio effects and effects send section of the mixer and finish out with a peek into the powerful groove editor. Welcome to BFD 3.5. Let's get to it. Welcome to BFD 3.5. This exciting new update release includes the long-awaited Apple Silicon AAX and cross-platform VSD3 support, a refined interface with crisper colors, updated and customizable ambient mic placement control per channel, and for the first time, exclusive use of the InMusic Software Center for downloading, installing, and authorizing BFD 3.5. If you're a longtime BFD user, these updates are important news for you. As we dive into BFD 3.5, let's start by showing how we can access and load drum kits from the browser. Here you'll see we have kits and presets. What's the difference? Kits in the core library are ready to edit and tweak, or in many cases, simply load and go as inspiration strikes. I'll go through a few now. The Preset button opens up a list of customized preset kits with a variety of sound design and modifications featuring everything from built-in custom audio effects to heavy use of the drum parameter editing functions in the inspector panel. What if we wanted to change the snare sound in this kit? It's as easy as selecting the snare channel and auditioning the snare in the drum menu in the browser, all in real time. When I'm ready to select, simply hit the checkbox and your new snare is loaded up inside your kit. Let's move into the main mixer page and specifically our tweak section area of the interface. This allows instant hands-on control for shaping and adjusting our drum sounds per channel. I'm a big fan of the dampening knob. Let's listen to it in action on the snare for this current kit in this jungle-style drum and bass groove. Take a listen to how we can instantly dampen and reduce all the ring and sustain of the snare with a simple turn of the dampen knob. Bring the ring right back by turning it back to the left. Let's listen to this kit from the core library with a pattern and see what we can do to change things up and refine our snare sound even more with the extra dampen parameters and the unique envelope control to create some snappiness to the attack of the snare. Now I'm going to change things up and see how we can tighten up the toms with the dampen knob. While we're at it with the toms, let's check out the bleed functionality in the model panel. I'll solo the snare, and now let's control the bleed attenuation from each tom's microphone that's being picked up in the snare mic. We'll use our current kit's 3 toms as an example, bleeding into the snare mic. What's more annoying than someone repeatedly smashing a cymbal in the music store? Well, that would be me. Showing you this really cool set of editing features for crash cymbals. Here in the model panel, we can dampen, select our ambient ratio and frequency response, and we'll turn on the envelope control and add some strong attack now. I like this intuitive feature for cymbals in the cymbal swell section. With the turn of a dial, I can take a hard crash and make it softly roll for super nice swells. Let's stay in the drum editor section, and I'll show you how the combination of the dampen and envelope control tools in the model panel work with both the kick and snare. We'll start with the kick drum and tighten it up. Now we'll turn on the envelope control and things start to lean towards the attack side very efficiently. Now for the snare drum. We'll add more dampen attenuation, and we can hear the snare sound getting tighter and less ringing. Now let's activate the envelope control, and as we add more boost and more time percentage, the snare is getting a lot more of an impact character. A quick adjustment of the dampening amount, and it's right where I want it. One of my favorite model parameters is the articulation, and especially the velocity to pitch parameter. Listen to how the pitch of the snare changes based on how hard the snare drum is hit. With 48 included audio effects, including 13 by Air, you can easily insert effects onto your individual drum tracks. On this snare track, I'll assign a classic EQ8 to tailor the sound of my BFD snare. For a send and return setup with BFD 3.5, you can also choose the send section for your audio effects. This allows you to set up a robust send and return path for your drum channels. Here, I'll assign the snare to aux 1. Now I'll load a delay effect onto our aux channel. As I slowly bring up the send knob 1 attenuation, I can start to hear the aux return result for my delay from the snare channels send 1. The updated ambient mic section allows manipulation of the various ambient mic source channels, allowing a modernistic approach to room and overhead mic techniques. Selecting the mics panel gives us a plethora of mic channels to choose from. I'll go ahead and turn off the mics for the kick drum, and as I start to bring in the level of the overheads, now the room mic, and let's add in the signals of a couple of the compressor assigned mic channels as well. Now let's go back and work with the ambient mics on the snare channel. Just like before, we'll start by turning everything off. And now let's bring the overhead channel up. Keep in mind, we're controlling the signal from our snare channel's ambient mics. Now we'll go ahead and blend the room mics. Let's add a bit of the additional ambient mic channels. And there we have our ambient mics blend. Groove Engine is an essential part of BFD 3.5 and can fuse extra creativity into your music production. With a large selection of both grooves and palettes, BFD 3.5 gives you the ability to utilize and edit these on your own. The Groove browser on the left can both preview and load grooves and palette files. You can audition by simply selecting each one's play button. You can also choose and select your groove by BPM, genre, or time signature. The palette window on the right can be used to play various groove files in order, depending on how creative you want to be by loading them in. You can also trigger palette groove files via a MIDI key on your keyboard. Taking grooves to a whole new level is in the Groove Editor. Here, you can load your grooves and palettes and see them along the editor's timeline. This view and its large selection of editing tools lets you add notes, shift time, and change the overall feel of your groove. In the Groove section of BFD 3.5, there are numerous grooves and palettes. On the left, we see an assortment of our main palettes that we can audition. Let's check out a few examples. I'll choose this palette called Funk V1. When I double-click it, it opens the Groove Editor, where we can see our timeline of our palette groove. Now, with the Groove palette loaded in the Groove Editor and playing through, we can go down the lower left side of the Groove's browser menu. Here, we can add specific patterns of hi-hats, rides, tom fills, and much more. These grooves, located in the lower half of the left side browser, can be clicked individually and custom loaded into a new structured groove list on the right, giving ourselves a version of a formed pattern or song. This is a great way to arrange and test out your groove variations until you find something you like. Let's clear the list and choose some grooves within our Funk V1 palette pattern. First, we'll select the Browse Grooves button in the middle area, and let's choose the Close Hat groove, and it loads right into slot 1. Now let's select a new slot, and now let's add Ride 1. And finally, this Funk Fill 1 groove. Now let's kick off our Funk V1 palette and audition our new grooves we inserted into our main palette groove. Once you establish a pattern, you have several options in the File menu to export and utilize in your DAW or elsewhere. AAX Silicon and VST cross-platform support, modernized interface colors and design, updated ambient mic placement control, and authorizing and downloading with the InMusic Software Center. For many, these are the update features you've been waiting for. BFD 3.5 has the sound you've been looking for, all with a modernized set of tools and BFD's expansive and legendary quality drum sound. BFD 3.5 is your drumming software powerhouse. Grab BFD 3.5 now at bfddrums.com.